All right, welcome. This is Daniel the Adjuster with another episode. Well, this is really interesting. This one is going to be a shocker for you again. I am here to talk about hard drives. What? You're thinking, no way. Hard drives, yeah. Hard drives are a big thing, and we're going to talk about them here in just a minute. We're going to talk about the difference between a hard drive, which is an HDD or high density drive, versus an SSD, which is a solid state drive. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Well, that was fast, and we're back in the saddle. All right, so one of the things I wanted to talk to you guys about is, as an adjuster, the very important thing we need is storage. Oh my goodness, the amount of photos that we take when we're on a roof or we're in somebody's house is staggering. Now, typically, I'm going to take somewhere around 100 photos if it's a water claim, meaning by that the house flooded or toilet overflowed or something of that nature. Also, the important part of that photo is going to be the size of photo. Typically, I take a 5 megapixel picture, and the reason being is that if we were ever to be requested to go to court, a lot of times they will show those photos blown up in front of a courtroom. And you know that the larger a picture is, the better the quality when they explode it. If it's a 1 megapixel picture and they put it to something like a 3x5 poster board in order to show the jury or whoever the information, it's going to be really blurry and it's going to make you look unprofessional. So take 5 megapixel pictures every time that you take a photo. It also helps for later if you were to miss something on a house. Maybe you took an overview of the left side and somebody pointed out that there was metal damage up on the fascia. Well, the nice thing about a 5 megapixel picture, that's a hard thing to say, a 5 megapixel picture, is that you can zoom in, use a scroll wheel, and then I can take a screenshot of that close-up and make a new photo out of it. So that's a really big tip, guys. Remember that. That really comes in helpful when you miss a close-up photo of something. You can make close-ups out of a 5 megapixel picture. So today, I'm talking about, I got to a point where my HDD drive was actually a 2 terabyte drive, and it got full. Okay, it's not uncommon. Probably every couple of years I have to buy a new one because I fill those up with photos, and I'm required to keep those photos for about 7 years, 5 to 7 years, before I can destroy those. So cycling those takes a long time before you ever recoup those back to be able to use those drives. The new technology out is a solid state drive, or an SSD drive. So one of the things that I do is I do research when I find something. I want to make sure that I'm buying the best product out there, something that's best for my money, is also as reliable. So that's going to be the key factor here. Now, what I typically do is I go to web pages that talk about reviews and talk about products. I typically will go to about 5 or 6 different sites and see if the information is consistent across that web page to all those multiple reviews. What's the point of walking to a review if somebody says, this is the best one in the whole world, and that's the only review company out there that's actually saying that that's the best. Typically when you see that, it's because they're probably getting a promo for saying that, and that's not the person I want to get information from. So when I go to websites, I typically look for 5 or 6 different websites and see if there's any product that tends to be reviewed about the same. Top 3 keeps on saying that it's one of the best. And that's going to be the product that I'm going to research into to see, maybe there's something really good about this product. I came to a conclusion after going to this web page. We'll look at the computer here. 8 free tools to test SSD speed and hard drive performance. So they gave you lots of different companies here, type of hard drives they were testing, and then down here again they've got reviews for different ones. What I did typically when I go through these is I check to see if there's a free subscription, something that's free I don't have to pay for in order to be able to use the product. And a lot of these was like, oh yeah, you can do it, but you can only test up to a 500 gigabyte drive. And I'm like, well, that's silly. I want to test my 2 gigabyte drive. Here's one for Mac. Then I came down to the one here, which I ended up using. Unfortunately, not 7. It was actually number 8. Okay, so here we are, number 8. But still, top 10. But another key factor was free to use. Okay, so keep that in mind. So I used Parkdale. Let's open that up and take a look at it and see where we got here. Okay, so I opened up Parkdale, and here you'll see I've got my 3 drives that are on my computer at this point. I've got my local drive, 250 gig. That's going to be typical of what I buy on a computer as I look for the fastest computer that I can buy with low hard drive space. No point paying for hard drive if I'm going to add in my access to those hard drives later. This is the SSD drive that I just recently purchased, and then this is my 2 terabyte old drive, which is also getting listed here as well. So if you look at this, we're going to go ahead and do benchmarks tests on this. Let me first tell you the one that I chose. Okay, it's going to be the SanDisk Extreme. Okay, so the reason why this one is so important and why it rated so well is just basically everyone was saying that the speed of transfer on this was consistent. The speed of transfer, the speed, the stability of the product, longevity. You know, it's kind of hard to tell when it's brand new, but SanDisk is a good brand. Okay, so keep that in mind as well. You need to buy a good brand. There's a bunch of off brands, and certainly you don't want to buy those. So, key factor that I wanted to express to you is the how small it was. Okay, so let's give you an idea of what it looks like here, guys. Okay, look at this thing. Look at that thing, how tiny it is. How tiny and how thin. Barely, I don't know, maybe 5/8 of an inch thick, maybe ½ inch. Okay, let me give you a comparison. Comparison, my AirPods. Okay, if I turn them sideways, I'm looking at almost covering the whole thing. Okay, crazy tiny thing. Okay, crazy tiny. Okay, compare it to a wallet. I can make it disappear in my wallet. So I technically could put it in my wallet if I wanted to. But tiny, super thin. Okay, I don't keep hardly anything in my wallet, and look how fat that wallet is, and we're talking about thin. This thing could go in a breast pocket. It's got a little spot for a hook or a carbine or whatever you want to put on it. But I'm telling you guys, that is the key to it is super tiny. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Very impressed. Now, really, what's nice about this also, when they sent me the hard drive, is they included a USB-C, which is kind of similar to the lightning cable I use with PC. So it just plugged into my USB connection on the back or the side of the computer. Came with a USB adapter, so I could plug the lightning cable straight into the cord and then into a USB 3.0 if I needed it. So definitely gave the option if you didn't have that USB-C connection on the side of your computer. So super convenient and handy. So let's go back to the computer and get started on this test here. This is a benchmark program. Benchmark means it's a testing program, allowing you to find the best information. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. We're going to go ahead and start with my normal drive. So you basically select the drive down here, which you're going to be choosing, do a sample. You can do whatever size you want. Even if I wanted to do a quick one, this is a 1000 megabyte sample, and then it's going to do a block size. Now we're going to go ahead and start this. It does take a little bit of time. Now this is a sequence write speed. Okay, this is going to be testing the way the hard drive works if everything was in perfect alignment or sequence. Okay, it's important for you to understand the difference. Being in sequence means your drive's in perfect order. Everything's being recorded one right after another, one right after another. So that speed obviously is going to be faster. One way to keep that hard drive working terrifically is to clean it every once in a while, and that's going to be basically sequencing it back into order again. A typical drive works in random, and the reason being is that every file that you add is randomly placed because you're not always recording everything at the same time on that hard drive. So think of things as being random typically, so that speed is going to be important. So as we're done, you can see we've got some numbers here. 75 typically, 75 to 80 megabits per second is going to be an HDD drive. Okay, so every second I can transfer 75 megabytes of information. Hey guys, we've been used to the HDD drives for a long time, and that's actually been pretty fast. Okay, so now let's go ahead and test our SSD drive with the same results. Same thing, 1000 megabytes at 1 megabyte block size. Go ahead and start it up. Wow, look at the difference, guys. Do you see the difference immediately? 430 megabytes per second. Okay, let's do that math. Pull up our calculator here before it finishes up. 400 and let's do 440 because we're right in the middle of all of that. Divide by looking at about 75, 78 is roughly, I think, what the middle of the other one was. Wow, 5.6 times faster than an HDD drive. Guys, tell me that's not impressive, okay? That's the difference between an SSD drive and an HDD drive, is typically 6 times faster. Guys, that's absolutely amazing. So when you'll notice a huge difference when you go to access your information, because it'll just be super fast, super quick, and I have seen a huge difference. I mean, even just how fast this program went through accessing the information, you noticed how fast it went to actually complete the benchmark was even faster, and that's because it can access the information much faster. Now earlier, before I started this video, I actually went all the way up and did a gigabyte of information just to kind of see how long it would take, and man, the HDD took forever. I had to fast forward the video because it was huge. It was like, I don't know, 5 minutes maybe it took to do that sample. And again, went back to the SSD, it was done in just a couple minutes. So just really, really huge difference, 6 times faster. So again, guys, portable SSD drive, you gotta get it. This SanDisk is top notch. I love the size, I love the price point. I'll leave a link in the description about the price. It's a little pricey compared to an HDD drive. You can pick up a regular hard drive of the old type for $50, $60, $80, something like that. Maybe $100 on the big 2 terabyte ones. This is gonna be about double the price, but guys, it's really huge. Double the price to get 6 times the speed, and the portability is huge. I can take this thing, put it in my pocket, take it wherever I need to go. Absolutely amazing. So don't forget, if you found the information on here that's useful, please don't hesitate to hit the like and subscribe button. Check out my other videos. I've got some drone videos, adjuster videos, even reviewed the PlayStation 5. You've got to look for that one. That's awesome too. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you have any more questions or comments about what I'm talking about here. But again, Daniel the Adjuster, don't forget. See you next time. Bye-bye.